Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to my panel, Encik Mohamad Faiz and Encik Mohamad Noh. My name is Mohamad Zarif Rostam and my matric number is B07171061. I'm from 4BMH S1/2 and my supervisor is TS Azwan bin Aziz. So today I will present my BDP presentation, which the title is The Effect of Intrinsic Factors on Cooling Load Calculation for 3-room in HVAC Technology Industrial Lab. So for chapter 1 is Introduction. Global unpredictable weather conditions have affected most countries in the world today. HVAC industry also had been evolved from time to time with the better quality of providing excellent service for air in our surrounding. In Malaysia, the priority is usually only on the cooling and the ventilation system. Also, the climate is getting hotter from day to day because of the human activities and increase of the human population. In order to keep the function always in the optimal comfort zone, one of the crucial factors which is intrinsic factor should be considered. Then, the intrinsic factors can be defined as the internal factor affecting the thermal comfort of a particular place, which should consider when calculating the cooling load, since its affect the thermal comfort. So this is my objective of research. So the general objective is to determine the intrinsic factor that affect the cooling load in 3-room in HVAC Industrial Technology Lab. So my specific objective is to measure and compare the temperature in room A, room B and room C in HVAC Industrial Technology Lab with the different room condition. My second specific objective is to determine and compare the maximum cooling load from room A, room B and room C in HVAC Industrial Technology Lab. Okay, next is the scope of the study. First, the focus of the research are to identify what are the exact intrinsic factors which contribute to the thermal comfort for 3-room in HVAC Industrial Technology Lab Utem. Next, this project is about to describe the impact of intrinsic factors on these 3 rooms for refrigeration load calculations. Okay, for the next is as the intrinsic is measured, it is also possible to identify the calculation of the cooling load using the HVAC software. Right, chapter 2, literature review. So the one of the big title is thermal comfort. Usually the thermal comfort was achieving when the thermal stimulation to the skin preserve and control level of core temperature. Alternatively, thermal discomfort occurs when the thermal stimuli lead to the core temperature deviations away from the control standard. Regional differences may influence the thermal perception in skin thermosensitivity, hypohydration, and skin adaptation. Next is cooling load. The main factor regarding to the success in saving energy initiative are the construction of the estimation of cooling load. The outcome shows that the price of the occupancy of the buildings play a crucial role in building the estimation of cooling loads and allows the predictive accuracy substantially better. Then for the next literature review is factor affecting thermal comfort. This is very important. The acceptable hypothesis suggests that the environmental influences and previous change of temperature and also consequently affect the thermal perception and meet the needs of the occupation in the building. Inside natural ventilated building, the occupants were tolerant of a considerable more extensive temperature range clarified by a combination of behavioral and psychological adjustment. Alright, next for chapter 3, methodology. In this research, this chapter will discuss the procedure and the method used. Methodology acts as a guideline which must follow to complete. It will explain the project process from the start of the process until the end of the project. Each procedure stage will be solved entirely within his chapter for further follow precisely to ensure the project done correctly. Besides, This chapter would cover the project schedule and routine. The table and method of the project listed the tasks that should carry out for each job throughout the time. It is crucial to ensuring that the project will finish on schedule. There is two methods to collect the data. First, measure the temperature in room A, room B, and room C with different load condition. And the next method is generate report from HVAC software to get the cooling load data. So this is my project flowchart. I start with the literature review first with my title. So from the literature review, I found I get the problem statement for the previous research. Then I pick a workplace selection, which is the HVAC technology industrial lab Utem. So with the selection of the workplace, I proceed to the equipment setup for room A, room B, room C, which has a different size of room. So with the three rooms provide, I measure the data of the temperature for room A, room B, and room C, and the other side will generate the report CHVAC to get the cooling load. And after get the two data measured, I do a data analysis to discuss what happened in this measuring data. Alright, for planning of this project, I came out with the Gantt chart to know how the flow of the project will go until at the end of the research end. So this is the procedure on measure the temperature of each room in a 3-room in HVAC technology industrial lab. So firstly, this is just example. For the first room, is the condition is empty room, which is a very low load condition. With the empty room, we run the HSU system, and after 5 minutes, record the data. And next 5 minutes, which is 10 minutes, we will record the data until the 25 minutes. Then stop the system. After stop the system, wait until the room back to the normal temperature. After that, fill the room with the next condition room, which after very low load condition to very load condition. Then same with the previous step, record the data at 5 minutes until 25 minutes. So this will be repeat until the very high load condition record. Then repeat this step for the next room to record the temperature. So this is chapter 4, result and discussion. So the low load condition we separated to 5, which is very low load condition, medium load condition, high load condition, and very high load condition. So this is the example of the picture that for the data collected. Alright, this is the table of the data collection of temperature. You can see the room A is a small size, room B the medium size, and room C for the large size. And various of load condition that to investigate how the intrinsic factor affect the temperature of the room. This is a general data chart. This is for room A. So we can see for the room A, at a very low load condition until the high load condition, the graph pattern is increased smoothly. This also happened for the 10 minutes, 15 minutes until 25 minutes. This shows that the increase of the intrinsic factor of the room will increase the temperature of the room. Alright, this is a chart of the temperature versus room B condition, which is the medium size room. So the pattern of the graph also same as the small room, but this time the temperature to drop takes time because of the size of the room and makes the cool air need to distribute more time to cool the room. Alright, next for the temperature versus room C condition, which is the biggest size of room in this research. So this is the time taken to cool the room need to get more time to cool the room. So this proves that the intrinsic factors affect the time taken and to the room get the cooling effect. That makes the big size of room needs more time, and the intrinsic factor also affect the cooling load of the room. Then proceed with the maximum chart. So this is a temperature versus condition of room, which is I plot the bar graph with the maximum temperature. So based on the figure above, it shows that the maximum temperature of each room under the different load from the very low load condition until the very high load condition. Room A shows the increase of temperature as the started of a very low load condition until the high load condition. This proves that when the load of the conditioned space is increased, the temperature of the space is also increased and makes the space to be cool takes time. Okay, this is a minimum chart. Based on the figure above shows that the minimum temperature chart for room A, room B and room C with the condition of the room. Basically, we can see that for room A, which is the smallest room, it takes less time to drop the temperature. But at the room C with the bigger size, it takes more time and the temperature is more higher than room B and room C. Next, this is the second method of the collected data, which is a generated report by HVAC software with the condition of the appliances and the lighting. Also, the person inside the room were inserted in the HVAC software. So as we can see that the room A have 11,482 BTU hour. For room B is 11,532. Then for the biggest size of room, which is room C, is 11,697. So based on the figure above, this the generator of HVAC software, it shows that the increase of the cooling load of each room. The generated report for maximum load condition proves that the increase of the size of the room will affect the cooling load of the room, which the biggest size of the room required more cooling load to cool the conditioned space with the load in it. So for the last part is the conclusion. So the heat load and the condition of the room can change the cooling load calculation because of the presence of the absolutely will influence the surrounding of the rooms. The size of the conditioned space also play the role in affecting the cooling load calculation and the temperature itself. Based on the Canadian Centre of Occupational Health and Safety in February 2018, the recommendations issued by CSA Z412/17 Office Ergonomics, the Workplace Ergonomics Framework guideline includes at the summer condition at optimum comfort temperature is 24.5 degrees Celsius, and the range that still include in the thermal comfort temperature is within 23 degrees Celsius to 26 degrees Celsius. While the winter condition, the optimum comfort temperature is 22 degrees Celsius, and the range that still accepted is within 20 degrees Celsius to 23.5 degrees Celsius. So this shows that the temperature of the room is still in the range of the comfort temperature. Alright, thank you Encik Mohamad Faiz and Encik Mohamad Noor for listening, and Assalamualaikum.